Okay, so this all happened a while back, and I finally feel ready to talk about it. Most of my friends and family have no clue. For privacy, I'm changing all the names and places. Buckle up, it's a long one. But I'll try to keep it interesting without all the extra fluff. How it all started. After I got back from the army in 2016, I met this girl. Let's call her Sveta. We'd seen each other around in friend groups before, and she seemed interesting. After a lot of chasing on my part, we finally started dating. She took relationships super seriously. Not that I'm a player or anything, but it took like 6 months before she'd even agreed to be seen in public with me as a couple. During our relationship, I noticed some weird stuff. She had these full blown hysterical fights with her mom, Olga, over the tiniest things. Honestly, I didn't think it was normal, but I thought it was something you could live with. I was dead wrong. The more time we spent together, the more red flags popped up, but I just ignored them. Gotta say, Sveta was raised like a princess. Literally, her mom and some relatives called her that. She acted like it too. Sometimes it felt like, in her world, only her wants and needs existed. Her love language was gifts and flowers. It wasn't about the money for me, it was that it seemed to be the only language she understood, which became painfully clear later. The proposal and wedding planning. I don't even know why, but I proposed in 2017. Look, I wasn't rolling in cash. I had a job, but the pay wasn't great. Still, I saved up and bought her a gold ring with a small but real diamond. Know what she said? That her friends had bigger stones. The fact that their stones were cubic zirconia didn't matter to her one bit. That moment says it all. Pretty much everything she did was about keeping up appearances and competing with the other girls in her circle. And that circle was wide, at least until summer 2018, but more on that later. So, from the proposal to the planned wedding date was about 9 months. But then we had to postpone because my grandma passed away. Then May rolled around, and her mom, Olga, dropped this gem. Get married in May. You'll be miserable. Mayatsya. All your life. You want that? She had no idea how right she was. Time kept passing, the wedding got pushed back, and we had more time to save up and plan. Let me tell you, wedding planning is a test for couples who shouldn't be together. Constant fights, Sveta getting offended by everything, hysterics. It wasn't fun, but I figured it's just stress. I tried to be supportive. I'm not perfect. I messed up sometimes, but I was trying my hardest. We ended up renting an apartment her mom, Olga, liked, and we were about a month out from the big day. Everything was in full swing, including Sveta, who kept dumping tasks on others because she was tired. Weirdly, everyone was tired. I was taking on as many freelance gigs as I could handle. I worked from home, just trying not to lose my mind from her performances. The last straw. So one fateful day, we decided to work on the wedding invitations. Sveta was an artist, a creative person with a capital T, forged in titanium. I knew if anyone else touched the invites, she'd hate it and unleash hell on everyone within a 1,000-mile radius. I tried to get her to do the design herself, but she said I knew Photoshop, and she didn't. I suggested we sit down and do it together with her directing. She refused. Said she'd supervise remotely via messages and screenshots. That day, I was trying to work my actual job while also designing. Am I a designer? No, absolutely not. Never claimed to be. But by the end of the day, I'd made about 15 revisions. Her messages with feedback were full of insults that kept getting worse. What finally broke me was after something like version 20, she texted me that her mom Olga had saved the day and made a proper invitation design. Between you and me, even I could tell her mom's design was, let's say, not great. And Sveta followed that up by calling me useless, stupid, and incompetent, among other lovely things. Normally, I would have just taken it, but with all the wedding stress and the mountain of past insults and scenes I'd swallowed. This was it. I told her I was coming over that evening for a serious talk because I refused to let that kind of treatment become the norm in our family. Instantly, she flipped a switch, started begging me not to come, saying she just lost her temper, said things she didn't mean, everything was fine. But I was done. I was going to shut this down before the wedding, clear the air once and for all. The tea party from hell. I asked my parents to come with me. They liked Sveta. We got there, sat down for tea, and my dad said something like, "Look, we need to respect each other. Sveta went a bit too far today. Our son isn't perfect either. But let's all calm down and pull together to finish the wedding plans." As soon as he finished, her mom, Olga, looked like she'd been electrocuted. She launched into a full-blown meltdown about how we dared to come into her house and attack her daughter. Everyone except Sveta tried to calm her down, but she was unstoppable. Now, I've had a stutter since I was a kid, something I've worked on for years. And knowing this, Olga started mocking me for it. Just straight up, no shame. In 25 years, I've heard worse. It didn't hurt my feelings, but it showed me her goal was just to trash me in front of everyone. I realized we weren't getting any sanity here. The conversation ended with us being called scum for what we said about her daughter, but also, everything's fine. No clue how those two thoughts lived in her head at once. Here's the crucial part. As we were leaving, Sveta appeared in the doorway for a second, took off her engagement ring, and made a point of showing it to me so I'd see. I didn't tell anyone. I don't think anyone else noticed. Making the big decision. I drove home already knowing I'd walked into a nightmare family and that I didn't know this person at all. My parents are good people. They give everyone the benefit of the doubt. They asked me not to be hasty, said it would all blow over. But I think I'd already made up my mind. When we got home, I sat on the couch in my room for a bit, and then told them, the wedding's off. They were surprised and worried at first. I laid out everything that had been bothering me, and they realized it was even worse than they thought. They didn't try to talk me out of it for long. They let me decide. And I decided. I said there would be no wedding, and that I'd go tell my ex-fiancée in a couple of days. The final confrontation, I called Sveta and asked to meet at a cafe near her place. She, probably sensing something, and after talking to her mom, insisted we talk only at her house. Clearly, Mama Olga wanted to step in, speak for her, and fix this so the wedding wouldn't be canceled. I agreed. At the agreed time, I pulled up to their house and saw Sveta coming out with a friend. I met her and said we needed to talk at her place, and that I was there on time. She told me I could wait for an hour or so while she, get this, went for a walk with her friend. I later figured out why this circus was happening. While I was standing there, her mom Olga called me and, in the sweetest, most caring voice you've ever heard, invited me in for tea and a chat. I politely refused, making up some excuse. I don't even remember what. Finally, half an hour later, Sveta came back, surprised I was still waiting outside. We walked up to the apartment in dead silence. Mama Olga met us at the door, oozing a fake, sugary politeness she'd saved for a special occasion. We went in. She offered tea, wanted to discuss the wedding. I didn't beat around the bush. I said, I think everyone understands there won't be a wedding. The moment those words left my mouth, the mask dropped. Olga started slinging mud at me. A serial killer probably hasn't been called the thing she called me. She went after me. My family called us Jewish pigs, said we were traitors because we had relatives in the U.S., swore she'd complain to everyone she could reach. Not sure what she meant, but okay. This went on forever. I knew I just had to endure it. No point in arguing. Then she said we should go outside to talk. We did, and there, probably a mistake, I finally let loose on Sveta. Everything I'd bottled up for years came out. I realized that no matter how patient you are, how much you tolerate, it all finds a way out eventually. I told her everything I needed to, called out her behavior, reminded her about taking off the ring and showing me. Turns out she barely remembered that. Memory's a funny thing. We went back inside. I told everyone present, Olga, Sveta, and her stepdad, the only decent person in that family. I genuinely feel sorry for him, that my decision was final, that I didn't want to build a family on such a rotten foundation, that there was no love here, that in our relationship, we both loved Sveta, with zero reciprocity. Honestly, I still don't get why she stayed with me if I irritated her so much and didn't check any boxes on her perfect guy list. And I never claimed to. I said Sveta had made her decision yesterday when she took the ring off. She just wanted me to take the blame. I said I was fine with that. If needed, I wouldn't deny I was ending it. But she knew perfectly well that wasn't the whole truth. I kept it brief. Mostly, I just sat there listening to the horrific, creative combinations of insults Olga generated in real time about me and my family. I'm still low-key impressed. I thanked everyone present, said goodbye to Sveta's stepdad. He smiled and nodded at me. He clearly knew what was up and was glad I got out alive. Thanked Sveta for, well, for everything, even though it was hard to think of anything specific, and even thanked Olga, who responded with more choice words. I closed the door, walked downstairs, left the building, and took the deepest breath of relief. I cried, probably for the first time in 10 years, but it was from sheer overwhelming relief. I had almost made the biggest mistake of my life. That thought hasn't left me since. The aftermath. In our last talk, Sveta and I agreed not to drag our mutual friends into it, or badmouth each other. Guess we should have made that deal with her mom, too, because Olga took it upon herself to contact every single mutual friend she could find and tell her version. According to her, her poor daughter was dumped because she had health problems and I didn't want to carry that burden. Total nonsense. Sveta's health wasn't perfect, but whose is? Nothing serious. They just needed an official sob story. In her version, I'd been planning this betrayal for ages, that I just used her and threw her away. For a long time after, her social media was full of Jason Statham quotes about betrayal. It was kind of funny. It could have ended badly for me, but turns out, even with all our mutual friends, about 80% took my side. They told me we knew what that family was like. We were just waiting for you to see it yourself so we wouldn't interfere. And honestly, they were right. I don't blame them. A huge chunk of our friend circle, even from her side, distanced themselves from her. Everyone actually knew the deal. Seeing they were losing the PR battle, Sveta's family launched a campaign against me. I heard they'd literally stop mutual friends on the street and spin these wild, made-up stories to trash me. Hard to trash someone when everyone knows the truth, though. But Olga had one card left to play. Back when Sveta and I were together, I'd enrolled at the university where Olga was a professor. I didn't really want to go, to be honest, but I felt I had to. In their academic family, if you didn't have a degree, you were a loser. Somewhere near the bottom of the hierarchy, right next to pro gamers. No offense, brothers. I'd even asked Olga to help me get in, pull some strings since I was fresh out of the army. She said, "You'll have to do it on your own merits." Gotta give her credit. She did tutor me in math for the entrance exams. There were 4 exams total. I prepared for the others myself and ended up ranking first among all applicants. Math counted the least, and I scored the lowest on it. I got in on my own. But after the wedding was called off, Olga told everyone she got me in, that I only made it thanks to her. I wish it were that simple, but it wasn't. So during the very first exam session after the breakup, she walked into the classroom and said, "Hello everyone, I'm your professor, blah blah, it's a practical. Everyone will pass. Well, almost everyone will pass." Then she looks right at me. "Someone here definitely won't pass." Either I won't accept their work, or they won't finish in time. Basically, she decided I wasn't worthy of becoming an elementary school IT teacher and was going to get me kicked out of the university I got into on my own. Honestly, just being in the same room with someone like that put me in a really bad headspace. It messed with me. That same day, I just stopped going. I stopped attending and eventually withdrew my documents. Later, I found out she was telling everyone she met. Oh, did you hear? He dropped out. On his own. I didn't expel him, don't get the wrong idea. Just a nasty, cunning creature. And I'm so glad I dodged that bullet. Not a year or a month goes by that I don't thank my lucky stars. The happy ending. I guess fate decided to even things out. 2 months later, I met a girl I'd actually known for ages, but I truly met her for the first time then. She literally saved me because I was just empty. Didn't believe in anything good after all that. We got married really fast. We didn't need years to know this was forever. We've been married for over 5 years now. Our family is growing, and everything is great. She is the absolute embodiment of everything good and bright in life. The opposite of sadness. Thanks to her, I finally understood what love and a healthy relationship really are. The moral of the story: if you're in a relationship and you see red flags, run. It will swallow you whole. Listen to your gut. Don't ignore your doubts. If you see stuff like this in your relationship, it means you just haven't found your person yet.